Hey, hello, I'm JulieJo. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're not new here, welcome back. This video is different than my normal videos, and I just feel so passionate about it. I think I'm gonna start doing this more where if I'm passionate about something and I see it, I think we should talk about it, we will. Even if it's not MLM focused. This is something that really upset me, and I'm sure it's gonna upset many of you. I will give a trigger warning of like trauma, like you're gonna see a child go through trauma. And I think this parent, again, this is my opinion, I think this parent's very abusive. And even though this abuse looks different, it's still abuse. So we're going to look at something I saw on TikTok this week, and I've noticed that it's grown bigger on TikTok. And when I saw it, I was just like, stunned. Not only that, but when I saw what the mother said after and continued to say, I was stunned. I will be blurring out the child's face. I think she's probably in middle school or early high school. I will not be blurring out the mother's face because she had over 100,000 followers on TikTok, I think, and she posts these publicly. I did take them from a different TikTok, which I'll show because it's just right there in the TikTok. But I think she deleted her TikTok or got banned. I couldn't find it anymore. And I think that this needs to be talked about, so I'll talk about it. This is a video of a mother cutting off her daughter's hair.
My kid thinks it's more important to be pretty than educated, more important to be a follow body than a leader, right? Okay. I met a parent who likes to use physical discipline. Come here, you gotta learn today, girl. No physical discipline. Mom, don't mom me. No. You had your warning. You had your chance. I told you to listen. I told you stop disobeying my rules. I told you being cute ain't shit if you have no education. I told you stop disobeying me. I told you to listen and do as you're supposed to. I told you to do good in school. I told you to do your daily routine, and you yet to even do any of it. And you thought you were disobeying me today and I was not coming to cut this hair off. You're sadly mistaken because you thought being pretty was so much better than being educated or listening to your mom.
She took her daughter's hair and cut it at the scalp and shows it. She films it, does it right there to her daughter. And to me, the look on her face that her daughter's giving is, we're literally watching her experience trauma in front of our eyes. As someone who went through a lot of childhood trauma, I am absolutely disgusted. There's more that is even more concerning. This mother continues to call her daughter her twin. My daughter is me. I am my daughter. Like, this is my twin. And she says that a lot. And I don't think I have videos where I know I have videos where she says like, my daughter's my twin and stuff. But what I'm thinking is this is major projection. So she's abusing her daughter because she sees herself in her daughter. I think that she lives her life where her daughter is an attachment of her. What I think is this mother doesn't see her daughter as like a separate human being with thoughts and feelings and emotions, but sees her daughter as an extension of her. Therefore, she's able to control her however she wishes that maybe she would have been controlled younger. And by being controlled, I think just not make mistakes. So she's taking a lot of it out on her daughter in a very unhealthy way. So this is right after it happened, and I want to warn you, it's pretty upsetting.
Hi. Do you feel traumatized?
No.
Do you feel like I abused you?
No.
Do you feel like this form of discipline was a lot better than any other form of discipline, like physical abuse, that I could have used?
I want to start by saying the daughter has no emotion. I do believe that the daughter is still in that trauma. This looks pretty close after the initial haircut. And I do believe the daughter is almost in a disassociative state. This is obviously my opinion just from watching it. But the fact that she said, do you think this is better than anything else I could have done, like physical abuse? And we'll listen to that again just so that I'm talking about it correctly.
Do you feel like this form of discipline was a lot better than any other form of discipline, like physical abuse, that I could have used?
Yeah.
The issue with that is the mother's trying to show everyone that her daughter's okay with that kind of discipline, But the mother's only giving her daughter one other option in this. She says, like, unlike other disciplines I could have used, like physical abuse. Well, yeah, that's, in my opinion, I think that's better than beating your daughter. However, it's not much better, and it's still abuse nonetheless. So the fact of the matter is, to me, this woman is an extremely manipulative person who is horrifyingly gaslighting her daughter. And I know that gaslight's used a lot, but this mother is horrifyingly gaslighting her daughter right now. And there is much more to the video, so I'll let it play.
You know I love you, right?
Yes.
You know I got your back, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm doing right now is to make you a better person, right?
Yes.
How many times have I spoken to you about this?
A lot of times.
How many times have your teachers called me?
Multiple times.
How many times have you not handed in homework?
A few times.
How many times have you not listened? How many times have I told you when you're grounded not to do certain things and you're still doing them?
A lot of times.
Right. A lot of times, right? And I've been speaking to you about this for how long?
A year.
So today when I did what I did by cutting off your hair, you understand why I did it, right?
Yeah.
And you're learning from it, right?
Yeah.
And what did you learn?
I learned not to disrespect you and to listen to you.
And also?
And to do my homework.
Because school comes first, right?
I think that's a really good example of when the child says, I learned to not disrespect you and, you know, whatever. Another says, and then she goes on to say, like, to do my homework. I don't think she learned to do her homework. I don't think she learned that she needs to do it. I think she learned that she's afraid of her mother. That's obviously my opinion, but I see it. She looks like she's afraid of her mother. And looks like she's experiencing this disassociative moment where she has no emotion whatsoever.
Yeah.
And if you have no education, then you have nothing, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not listening in class and you're not behaving and you're not listening to your teachers and you're not handing in your schoolwork, do you deserve to have extensions in your hair?
No.
Do you deserve to have the latest styles in your hair?
No.
Do you deserve to have nails in your hair?
No.
Your hair will grow back, right?
Yeah.
You can wear wigs, right?
Yeah.
I can add extensions back, right?
Yeah.
So you know what I did. I did out of love, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason why I posted was because of what? You think that these Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and Roblox is your life. I didn't embarrass you. You embarrassed yourself, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. My kid's not abused. My kid isn't upset. My kid knows.
So I want us to remember the statement that she says, I didn't embarrass you. You embarrassed yourself. So she knows that doing this was going to embarrass her daughter. Whether she thought she embarrassed her or not, she knew that embarrassment was part of this. The biggest part of it was embarrassment. So I want us to remember that as we watch other videos that she talks in.
This is a learning experience and process. She knows. I never abused my kid. I'm not harming my kid. I'm not even a fucking parent who wants to physically abuse her kid or discipline her kid. This took a lot for me to even do. And I've been talking to her for a whole year about her grades, about listening in class, about not using the phone, all of this stuff. And I actually don't answer to any of you and don't have to explain shit to any of you. This kid right here is letting you know that she knows I did it out of love. And after trying so many different things with her, yes, she got her fair warning. I was going to cut it off and I was going to post it because she's embarrassing herself. This is not about embarrassment. It's so she understands and gets that in this world, these apps, this generation is bullshit. And I, as her parent, am going to do much better in guiding her and making sure she becomes a beautiful, decent young lady.
The issue is, yes, it is about embarrassment. You've just told us, I think 2 to 3 times, that you knew this is an embarrassment. You say that she embarrassed herself. Your goal was not to teach her a lesson. And I'm speaking as someone who doesn't give a fuck what her mom thinks. Her goal, the mother's goal, is to not teach her a lesson. It was to embarrass her, hoping that she's embarrassed enough to never do it. You're not teaching her anything other than to be afraid of you. I can't imagine. It doesn't matter what your daughter thinks about this. Let me just put it this way. Your daughter's thought process of this and you saying that she's fine with it, doesn't matter what she thinks because she's a child. She doesn't understand what is happening. She doesn't understand that her mother, that she likely looks up to a lot, just traumatized her. What does matter is what other adults think, what other people think, and see, and know, and have experienced. Because we grow, and our brain grows, our experiences grow, and we know abuse when we see it. So sadly, that's not the last video. There is more.
The comments, or less about the comments. I don't know why you guys are on here acting like I owe you guys some explanation. I could care less about the comments. I could care less about the likes. I could care less about the views. Never did this for comments, likes, or views. I did it because I stood on my word as a parent. For a whole year, I've been telling her I was going to do this. If she didn't stop doing the stuff she was doing, she didn't believe me. I didn't.
The issue is not that she lived up to her word. It's fine to live up to your word. The issue is the action you put to live up to your word. What did you do? I wish you wouldn't have lived up to your word. I wish you would have continued to not do something that you knew was likely not very good. But you got so fed up and angry. You took your phone, you put it up, you pressed record, you grabbed your daughter's hair, and you cut it off with intentions to publicly shame her to be better. The issue is not that you lived up to your word. It's what your word was.
I didn't believe myself. I didn't think I'd do it either. But God's grace, yes ma'am, I stood on my word for once. And I made sure I stood on it. I don't care for the likes. I don't care for the comments. I don't care for the TikToks. I didn't do this to embarrass my daughter. If I wanted to embarrass my daughter, I would tell you guys what she actually did. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not here.
Saying that I didn't do this to embarrass my daughter, while also simultaneously in another video saying my daughter embarrassed herself, I didn't embarrass my daughter embarrassed herself, shows me that this actually was intended for shame and embarrassment. And the thing is, it's quite obvious, right? We already talked about that she knew this was for embarrassment. Now she's saying that it wasn't to embarrass. The reality is, you can believe one thing, however, that doesn't mean that it's true. Just because you believe this wasn't for embarrassment doesn't mean that it wasn't. Because, in my opinion, she knew. Her intention was embarrassment and shame.
Here to embarrass my daughter. She is my kid, and that is between me and my kid. I see some weird comments like, oh, she's jealous of her kid. How the hell can you be jealous of someone who's your twin? She's literally identical to me. Eyebrows, ears, nose, mouth, teeth.
I believe that it is a type of jealousy in the sense that she is an extension of you and you wish you were her so that you can go back and possibly do things different. I believe that is projection. So yes, there is jealousy involved, and I believe that there is a great jealousy in this relationship between this mother and daughter. Again, it's my opinion, and if you would like to share yours below, the comments are open, and we'll keep watching.
Who's literally my identical twin. After exhausting so many different types of discipline, writing lines, grounding, taking away, doing all of that, it doesn't matter. When I ask her not to go on the apps, she makes a new one and continues her badness and does what she wants to do. I'm not going to sit here and explain to you guys what really happened because I'm not here to embarrass my daughter. I'm here to teach my daughter. I told her if she continued, I was going to do that, record it, and post it. I've been telling her I'm going to do it. I never stood on my word for a whole year, so now I'm standing on my word after exhausting everything else because I refuse to let these apps run my kid. I refuse for my kid not to have an education. No skipping class. I don't care what you're doing. Skipping class to do what? There's so many other things, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about it on TikTok because I don't owe you guys an explanation. Those who know me in person know that that took me a lot to do.
I actually feel that it very likely didn't take you a lot to do. I have never seen someone grab hair so easily and chop it right off with no issue whatsoever. When she says that she's not going to explain herself or tell us what her daughter has done, she ends up doing both of those things. She is explaining herself in this while also telling us a little of what her daughter's done, which is skip school. I am in awe of the mental gymnastics that this woman lives to not realize the pain and trauma she's just caused her child.
And clearly you can tell in the video, it took a lot for me to do.
Nope.
Scroll down and watch the rest of my videos. Go holla at my Instagram. You can tell me my kid are besties. But the one thing I will not do is let our good relationship be the reason why my kid fails in life. I refuse to be that fucking parent. I'm not gonna be that parent. So I don't owe none of you guys an example. You guys are the weirdos for commenting and sharing and doing all this weird shit. I could care less about any of it. Because the bond me and my kid have, you guys don't know. So I could care less. At the end of the day, I'm a parent and I need to stand on my word, and that's exactly what I did. So I'm not making no more videos for you guys, I'm not even interacting or even replying. I don't owe you guys nothing.
So that is the end of her explanation of this. She says she's not trying, it was not an intention to embarrass her daughter, that her daughter embarrassed herself. And then she says it was not about embarrassment, while knowing that it was embarrassment. And this is actually even more telling and even more sad. She duetted this video, and I'll let you watch it. I think it shows the importance of what hair is to her. And this was before all of this happened. And I think that it breaks your heart a little more about this situation, and kind of makes you realize how intense, how angry, how horrible this situation is if you don't already see it that way.
The reason they don't want you wearing your hair long is because it connects you to nature. The more you let your matted hair, matted ether, the more you let your matted ether grow, it holds all this electricity and energy. See, this is why we wore our hair like that. And we are magnets, magnetism. So this makes you more magnetic. Your hair makes everything about you. It's like your locks is like crystals. Your locks is just like wearing motherfucking crystals. You know what I'm saying? Your locks or your afro, or you let your hair just grow out, braids, locks. Goddess is just natural hair. When you let your hair just grow naturally, you ain't have to do nothing to it. Just let it be natural though. Okay, how you style it, you can style it however you want to style it. You need to have some ether on your motherfucking crown chakra, my nigga. Especially with all this light coating they're doing. Because then if you got ether, it helps protect you against it, especially.
So in this video, we see the importance of hair to her, and it just heightens everything. It heightens the abuse. It heightens the anger and the hatred. It heightens the intention that this mother had. And I just thought this should be talked about. And I do think that her TikTok is gone now. I think it's important to bring awareness to these things, and the idea of putting your child online to intentionally embarrass them, or like what family channels do to intentionally use them for money. Like these, you know, while this wasn't a family channel, this was an intent, right? This mother intended to embarrass and shame her daughter online, and that's going to live online forever. And this child is going to realize one day what her mother did to her, and it's going to be something that the daughter has to work through. So that's the video for today, and there's gonna be more like this to come. Whatever I see pop up, something that I'm passionate about, something that I think should be discussed, I'm gonna do that on this channel too. So subscribe, like, whatever you want to do. But this awareness, what parents do to children online, it needs to be talked about, and I feel like I can't not speak on this. I feel very passionate about it, and I'm glad that you're here and watching, and I'd like to hear your opinion below. So thank you for being here, and I hope you have the most amazing morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world and whenever you're watching. I'll see you next time.